Welcome everybody, it's Joni at Granny J Clay, and I'm going to talk low so my husband doesn't hear me, but I'm going to make a clay card for him for our anniversary, which is Valentine's Day. We'll be married 52 years on Valentine's Day, so I've been making him Valentine's / anniversary cards from clay for the past couple of years, and I wanted to make a special one this time. Now I'm going to use, I decided I would do it in blue. I'm going to use this clay I've had for a long time. It says Fimo Soft. It's called Brilliant Blue. It is the most gorgeous blue, but it isn't soft. It's hard as a rock right now. So I have to work on that to make it soft before I can make the card. And also, I was going to tell you, many years ago, I used to mix the Super Sculpey with the pearl clay to make my my little characters, maybe I'll call them that. So I think what I'll do is, and it doesn't really change the color of this clay very much, but I think I will mix it together and see if I can't. This is a little bit softer, even though I've had it open for a while. So this is Super Sculpey, this is Fimo Soft, Brilliant Blue, and what I have is, I have an old food processor, that years ago I used to mix clay in, and I might dig that out if I can find it, and I'll mix my clay. Basically what I'm going to do is just chop both of these up in little pieces and then throw them into the food processor and turn it on and see if we can get it softened a little bit. It really does work like excellent. If you ever want to try that, if you have a food processor that you are not using in your kitchen anymore. I never use my clay one in my kitchen. So I'm just going to pause the video for a minute and see if I can get some clay mixed up. I'll be back. Well, step one is done. I chopped up quite a bit of the Brilliant Blue clay, the Fimo clay. Now I go on to chop my Super Sculpey and mix them together. All right, all chopped up. Now what I plan to do is take this back to my storage room, which is where I have a table set up, where I do my drilling and so forth. I did find my old food processor and dug it out, so I am ready to go. I'll be back after I've mixed it up. I wouldn't do that on camera because it's loud, really loud, but I'll show it to you when I'm done. Hopefully it works. Be back in a minute. Look at this, you guys. Look at this. It gives it some heat. I took the blade out, so I'm not going to get cut or anything. Gives it a little heat. I'm going to have to dig the stuff off the bottom, but it still works like it used to. And remember how hard that blue was? Let me see if I can show you. I can now get it out, dump it on my work surface, and knead it a little bit, and it'll be just fine. So let's see, I'll dump some about right here. Some of it I'm going to have to dig out. I have a spoon down here, so I'll dig it out. But there it is. Look at that. Just puts it in smaller pebbles, and see, I can push it together. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? See how much, and that was hard. I mean, like a rock hard, the Fimo was. But the Super Sculpey was not. It was like it always is. It's very malleable, and I could put them together. And once I work this through, you'll see that it doesn't really change the color of the blue very much at all. But look at this. See, I still have to dig that out. That's happened before too, but it'll work anyway. So let me just go off camera and dig the rest of it out first. Okay, I got it out. I'm going to kind of push it together now, but I wanted you to see the inside of the bowl. Do you see how it leaves some residue in there? But that does that every time. And I suppose I could scrape and scrape, but I don't. I've got a crack in this one. Maybe, I'm not sure you can see it right there. But it still works. And so it did what it used to do years ago. So I'm thankful for that. All right, I'll be back in a minute. I might as well have this on. You can watch me. I had a flannel shirt over my white top, and it got too warm, so let me just mold and shape this a little bit. Oh, that is the best. I remember discovering that when I first started working with clay. And then I found out that other people were doing it. But I felt that I had discovered it first, but evidently I didn't. You know how that is sometimes? Okay, I'm going to break it in half and use smaller chunks, but it is easy and pliable. I just have to work with it a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go off camera for this, but you can see it. It can be a mess, but it's worth it if you can use the clay, you know, the older clay that you've got. You know, in these days of shortage and clay's not coming in now, I guess I shouldn't be so concerned about clay. People have food shortages these days, so. But anyway, you see? Now it's getting to shape a little bit more. So I will be back when I have this all put together. I'm not done yet, but I just wanted to show you. I have my last pile to kind of get together before I really try to make it look like something. But I used some translucent liquid Sculpey. I just sprayed it on the top of that. So that'll even be able to help it more, move a little bit. Back in another minute. Okay, I want to show you what I'm doing. I am getting my hands blue. But I'm just working that clay. And, excuse me. And it provides a little bit of a stickiness, which is good. The translucent liquid Sculpey does. But as you can see, it's really coming together. But this is how I start out with it. So far I've got two. I cut them down into smaller piles so I could deal with it a little bit easier, but I'm kneading it. And this will take me just a little bit of time to get through this, but like I said, it's worth it. And then I'll have quite a bit of this ready to work with. Not that I'll use all of it today, but I wanted to show you that little trick of the trade. If you haven't seen it before, it really is, it's wonderful. And these finger cuts saved my fingers, let me tell you. It's very helpful. So I will go off camera, but I wanted to at least show you what I was doing and how far along I am. I'll be back. All right, I'm just going to show you now how far I've come. It's still looking a little bit marbled, but it's to the point where I can work with it. So now I'm flattening each of my little snakes or tubes out, and I'm going to roll it through the pasta machine several times so that it will continue to mix together. See how that broke apart a little bit? I want to make sure that doesn't do it when I go in the pasta machine. And if it does, I can just piece it on top of the sheet that comes out and re-roll it. But I wanted to show you that this is really coming together nicely. Let's pick that up. So don't throw your old clay out. And I will show you this when I'm done. Okay, check my first sheet out. It looks really good. It looks really good. It's got some crumbles. Your hands get really sticky from the liquid clay, but you can wash that. But don't give up, because when it goes through your pasta machine, it might crumble a little bit here and there, but just keep folding it over and sticking it, fold down into your pasta machine over and over and over, and then go from your widest to, I went to number 2 on my pasta machine. 0 is my widest. 1 would be less wide, and 2 even less wide. So don't give up on it. I'm going to just run this through. Okay. Tell my motor is working a little hard. Okay, I'm just going to lay that there. Now I'm going to go on to my others and make sure that I have them all conditioned really, really well before I work with it. And I'll wash my hands too, and then I'll be back. Take a look at this gorgeous clay. I'm done, but look at my hands. So I'm going to go wash them before I continue. But look at this. Look at how lovely. I folded it over, so I got a long piece. And then I've got another long piece right here. I fold this over too, but I've got a lot of clay I can work with now, and it's just very pliable, very soft. And but not too soft to work with. It's just really a perfect texture. So I will be back. I'll wash my hands. I'll be back, and we will begin our project. I guess I didn't know that this was going to be a video about saving your old clay, but there you go. I'll be back. All right, here we are, clean hands. I have to put my new finger cuts on my thumbs, so I got those so dirty. But isn't this pretty? It turned out really, really nice. Here is the clay. Look at, see it? It barely changed colors. If you can see the difference there, hardly at all. Nobody would know it if you told them that this whole thing was just brilliant blue. But that's what Super Sculpey did for me. And like I said, I used to mix this Super Sculpey with my pearl clays and other clays too to make my clay go a little bit further. And this helped to soften up this too, I think. But I did work, I want to tell you, it took some work. I worked on this for about a half an hour. And but it was so well worth the effort. Now I can use it. So don't give up on your old clay. Resurrect it. Resurrect your old clay. All right, I'm going to set this aside, and I will set some of this other aside too for now. And we will begin to, let's see, where do I want to put it? Oh, over here. And we'll begin to make some clay. I guess I should have said clay pieces. So what I would like to do, I would like to make this at least thick for the back of the card. And then I'm not sure if I'll have it as thick for the front of the card. You'll see what I mean. Anyway, I haven't done this before. So, I mean, I've made hearts before, done that kind of thing, but I haven't done what I'm going to try to do today. Set that aside. I'm going to run this through my pasta machine. Let me put my thumbs on first. I have them in a bag, my thumb coverings. They're so helpful. And I do see other people wearing them. In fact, I've got a sore middle finger as well, so I think what I'll do is just put one on that as well. I cut my fingernails. You know, I just can't work with long fingernails, and I have seen so many people work with long fingernails. I have yet to figure out how that happens, because I cannot do it. But I can't grow long fingernails anyway. This one doesn't want to stretch real easily. Let's see if I can get it down. Okay. Oh no, then I ripped it. I'll forget it. I'll just put it on my thumbs for now. They roll on real easily, it seems. Unless they get caught too. There we go. And this one. Do some of you have problems with cuts on your fingers too, when your fingers get dry and you work with clay? It's always been a bit of a problem with me. Okay, so put those away, and now I'm going to run this through the machine on a 0, which is my widest. So it made it one piece, but what I want to do is fold it again and run it through one more time. And there we have it. Also, I use this to roll out those little logs, but I also use this larger rolling pin to roll it out. I have this nice heavy-duty rolling pin that I dedicated to clay, and that was really helpful in rolling out the logs that I mixed together prior to getting it this color, or to getting them mixed together. But now I just kind of have to roll it a little bit and make sure. Okay, I might have picked up a little glitter. I think I still have glitter in my machine from my from working with, what do you call it, the white gold glitter. Yeah. So let me just do this. Put a piece of this on my patty paper, and then I'm going to smooth it out just to make sure it's all really smooth. I'm not pressing too hard, just a little bit. But it definitely has a different look once you've done this with your clay. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty. All right, now I'm going to lift it up off my glass so that when I want to make my heart, maybe it's going to lift up. It won't be so hard to lift up. Okay, so that's good. What I'm going to do though is take a Kleenex and just wipe that off a little bit. Get the residue off. And then I'll bring this back up. I'm going to move this over here. Have it close to me if I need some more. And then I'm going to wipe my blade off. And we shall begin. I want to have a texture on here. And perhaps you can help me pick a texture. I want to use one of my embossing folders. And oh my, I've got so many, but those are Christmas. I won't be using those. But I also have some from Doris. This is buttons. I don't think I'll use that one. This is music. I'm not going to use that one. But maybe I should use these clocks. I might use that. Is that more of a manly thing? I don't know. I think I will. I'll just use the clock. Okay. Thank you. You helped me. You helped me pick it up. Okay. As I paused this, I went up and got my husband something to eat and my puppies something to eat, and took the puppies out to go potty too. So, all right. So here it is. Looks like it needs cleaning off a little bit. Let me push this there, and I'll get out a wipe. And I'm just going to wipe it down a little bit. I must not have cleaned this very well the last time I used it. And I don't even remember the last time I used it, actually. But, okay, I have wiped this down a little bit. And I'm going to use the embossing part rather than the debossing part. So I think what I'll do is I'm just going to brush a little bit of cornstarch on this. I keep some in a little bowl close to me, and then I hold this over my garbage can, and I use kind of one of my fluffy brushes, and I brush it on over the garbage can so I won't have so much of a mess. I'll show it to you here in a second. There we go. Now we have puppies downstairs now. Hi, Chewy. Yep, Mr. Chewy's down here. And if this gets on the clay, it's okay. It's easily taken off. But I don't want it to stick to the clay. So let's just try this. You can see that cornstarch is on there. Let's see, where do I want to go? I think I want to go right about. You know what? I want to cut some of this off. Cut some of that off. Cut some of that off. And I'll even cut a little bit off the side here. Now I've got a piece about this size. And I'm going to place it right about here. Okay. Right. Now I'm going to burnish over that. More on this side than the other side, because this is the side I want to use. All right. We'll see what we're going to do here. What do you guys do for Valentine's Day? We haven't done anything for a number of years. We used to always go out to eat, but just don't. We do not go out to eat anymore. We don't do a thing. We just stay home. And that's on purpose. We just feel that it's a better idea in this day and age right now, where we are in. Okay, let's see how this turned out. Good. All right. Now I'm going to bring this off of this carefully, because I know it will have imprinted the back a little bit as well. So I'm going to be careful. It did imprint the back a little. This is the side I want to use. So what I want to do is get that off now. Let's see, where's another soft brush? And I'm just going to brush it off like this. Some of them, as you can see, just kind of stayed in there. Let me see if I can get a wipe and just get that out. In fact, I'll just open it up, lay it flat, and just follow it around with my hand. I got one off. Actually, there were two, so that's good. Okay. I don't think that the print has been disturbed too much. I know it's harder to see when it's a darker color. Let's see if I can get it to shine. I don't know. Anyway, there you go. Okay. Now I'm going to bring in my heart cutter. That's what I'm going to use. And these are my Fat Daddy-O's nylon cutters. I've used these. I almost always use them unless I'm making littles. Then I get out my little cutters. Okay. So let's just figure this out here. This size? Nah. Maybe that size would be good. Need to wipe down the edges of my cutter a little bit. Sometimes I'm really, really good about cleaning up after myself when I'm doing a project. Sometimes I'm not. So let's see if this would fit. Oh, that one will fit too. Not this way though, but it would fit. Barely, just barely. I don't know. I kind of like that larger looking one. Okay. Let me see if I can get it on there. I'll go right close. Oh yeah, it will. Close to the edge, but I think I can still get it. Now, what do I want on there? I want part of that clock. Yeah, okay, now back it down a little bit here. Back it down there. I am so barely on this, you guys, you wouldn't believe it. Maybe you can tell. It looks right here, when I look from above, that this is off, but it's barely on it. So I'm going to take it, push it down a little bit. Then I got this, I have no clue where I got this thing, but it's just a sheet of hard plastic, and I've used it for this kind of a thing often, where I just lay it over the heart, and then I just push down. And I didn't use any plastic to cover it. I don't need a beveled edge. It's going to be just fine this way. All right. Now I'm going to go hold it where it's at, and I'm just going to pull off from around it. And if I missed a couple of areas, I'll get it. Okay. I'll move this, set this aside, and I'm going to make another heart, so I'm going to leave that out. I'll put the rest of the hearts over here. And there's residue here. I want to pick this heart up, but I don't want all the residue to stick to it, so I'm just going to pick away at it a little bit. Okay. Now I still have some residue here, but it's going away quickly. Move this aside. Rub this down a little bit. It's amazing how fast this builds up residue, your workspace. So you just have to kind of be careful and keep cleaning it off. All right, so I want to smooth this out a little bit. And when I say it barely made it onto that piece. Barely, 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 barely. Okay. All right. Now what I'm doing is smoothing around the edges, because the more you do before you put it in the oven, the better it is for you when it comes out. You just don't want to distort. It's easy to distort the piece that you cut out. And I don't get it all, but I get most of it smoothed out. You can always use a nail file to finish the job for you once it's out of the oven. Okay, make that smooth. And that's smooth. I'm going to turn it around because it seems to have a little ridge there. Okay. All right. I think that looks pretty good. All right. Now what I want to do is I want to put, of course, my favorite Pearl X powder on it. So, so you'll be able to see the clocks, or the watches, or whatever you want to call those. I can't remember when I used that last, but I must have, because it had something on it. So let's pull out my favorite, my pearl white. Now you could bake it, and then you could put white paint on it, but I really like the look, of this. And then you wipe the white paint off, and whatever's in the recesses stays. I just simply like Pearl X powder better. I do. Okay. Even though it's time consuming to get it back off, it's worth it. You know, most everything that's time consuming is worth the effort. It just seems like. Anyway, all right, let's get as much of that off. And let's see, what am I gonna do? Oh, I know. I'll just bring this around like this. And what I'm gonna do is try to get most of it back into my little jar here. So this is what I do. I don't get all of it, but I get a good portion of it when I scrape it up like this. And you could do this over a piece of paper too, and then pick the piece of paper up. It'd be a lot less of a headache, I think. You wouldn't get all over everything. Okay, let me just put the lid on that so it doesn't fly everywhere. And wipe this down again. And now, you've seen me do this before, so I will show you what I'm doing, and then I'll get off screen for a little while and finish it, so you don't have to sit there and watch the whole process. But the first thing I want to do is I want to clear off as much of it from the top as I can, just like that. And maybe like that, like that, like that, like that. Now I'm going to come back in with some tape and clean up the rest of it. And I got some Scotch tape sitting here. Generally, I use painter's tape or masking tape. I'm getting low on that, so I'm going to use my Scotch tape just to show you what I'm doing here. I'll go up at the top first. You see how that pulls that off? And I work at it until the blue background is visible. And whatever is in the recesses stays, you know, there. So there you go. I'll do one more. Tape wants to stick to me here. There we go. I'll go back up above and take a little bit more off. Okay, I'm going to do the rest of this on my own, and I'll be back. Oh, that looks pretty, doesn't it? I did the back side too. That will be the inside of the top of the card, but this will be the top part of the card. I'm going to add more things to it, but this is a good beginning. And so I'm going to lay that kind of over there. And what I want to do now is have another heart. I need to make another heart. So I need to burnish the top of this. There we go. All right. That should work. I'm going to pull it up myself. It's kind of, I ran it on a 0, which is the thickest. Picking up a piece of glitter here and there, I see. From my machine. I need to clean it. I need to clean my pasta machine. And I'm going to rub off, the residue off of my heart. And I'm just trying to decide what I might want to do on the inside. And I think what I'd like to do is have it plain, but yet I want it to have some sort. Let me think about that a minute. I know. I'm gonna get one of my stamps. And it's a stamp that actually will make it look on the inside like some material. The other side is that, but I want it more subdued, so I'm going to use that side. Okay. And again, what I'm going to do, I don't think I'm going to put, there's not much depth to this one. I see there's a little something on there. A little something on there too. Oh, a little hair or fuzz or something. Hopefully that got that off. I might, let me wipe that off a little bit. But I just want it to have a little bit of a print. And this, since this isn't so deep, I don't think I'll need the corn flour or cornstarch. But I don't want it to be real sticky either, so I'm gonna get some of that wetness off of there. Okay, now let me see. Will my heart work this way or this way? Okay, I see I'm gonna have to probably do it twice on here. So I will first take it up here. What I'm going to do for that now is I'm going to use this and rub on this. See if I can get that print, since it's, you know, you can't really see it real well. In person you can. It does look like a piece of material, but I'm not so sure that it will pick that up. Let me push this up just a little bit so you can see a little bit more. I'll move it up a little bit further after I'm done burnishing it on. Hopefully it burnished in here. Yes, it did. I'm going to move it up a little bit further on my workspace. Let me just slowly pick it up. And I don't want something wet wiping that off. Okay. There we go. Now, I need to also put something down here. I'm not sure what that is. So I'm going to just see if I can lay it here but not press on that edge. I don't want this edge to show. So I'm just going to maybe just do this on my own. Maybe not. Hard on my fingers. So I'll just stay down here though, not up by the edge, because I don't want that to show in the other part. Let's see if we got it okay. Yeah, that worked. Okay, good. I'm not so sure you can see it. Let's see if I can adjust my light. There you go. You can see it better. Okay, so that's about all I'm going to do with that one. And I want now to cut my heart out. I have more room. Okay, so I'm going to push it down. I'm going to bring my little plastic board in again. I had my clay laying on it, so some residue of the clay got on that. And I'm just going to push it down. Hope you all are doing okay. Earlier today, I wrote a letter to our youngest son. He is going to go on a men's Christian retreat this weekend, and or encounter, maybe it's called. I'm not sure where he's going, where it is, but he's going on it. And his wife asked if we would, several people, not just his parents, would write him a letter telling him how much he means to us. And I thought, oh, what a wonderful opportunity to do that. I've often thought of writing one to each of our boys because that, you know, that would be something I think they might treasure after we're gone. I would think so. I know I would have had my parents done that. So this morning I wrote that letter, and it kind of choked me up. It just made me feel really proud of him and thankful that I got to be his mama. That's how God planned it, and so I'm thankful. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for both of my boys, but because it was him this time, I got to write things that would lift him up and encourage him. Isn't that great? Those kinds of opportunities, I guess we should take more often, even with our spouses. All right, so here's that. This is going to be the back inside of the card. This is going to be the top of the card. I know that sounds crazy, but, and I've not done this before, so let's see how this is going to work. What I want to do is, while I have them together, and yet I don't want to press on them hard, like that, I'm just going to line them up like that. And hopefully they'll be somewhat close to being lined up. I think so anyway. Looks like it. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch a couple of holes in the side. And once this is done, then I will make it so it can open like a card. Yeah, that's what I got planned. We'll see. All right, let's see here. I'm trying to find my I'm not sure if that's going to be too big or not. Maybe not. Maybe not, depending on what I use for it. But I don't want it to be, I don't want it to be too tight. I don't want it to be too big. Well, guess what? We're just going to try it out. So I'm going to, maybe if I open it up, it should be about right here. I don't know. We'll see, you guys. We'll see. So there's that. And, you know, maybe just one hole would be okay. Nah, I'm going to come down right below that one. About right here. And do one more. I don't want to go down too far. Okay, hopefully it got that, but it didn't bring it up, did it? All right, I should be, yeah, there, okay. And still get them apart. Yes, 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 okay. All right, now what I am going to do is bake these at 275 degrees, or I think Fimo is 265 degrees. I might, yeah, probably do it that. Although it's a mixture of Sculpey and Primo, or Sculpey and Fimo. So I'm going to bake these, but the way I'm going to bake them, I want them to be sure and stay flat, because I'll have more to do with them. Let me see here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add to the card after it is cooled down. It comes out of the oven. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll bring in one of my tiles like that and just put that down like that, and I'm going to put a piece, that's a little wrinkled, a piece of my paper over it, flip over this tile. Do you see how it's ridged has ridges on the back. I don't want that to mess up my piece, but I want a weight on top of it so that it doesn't curl up or something on the edges. You know how that happens sometimes when you make something? I don't think it would, but I want to make sure. So I'm just going to lay this very carefully now over that, and that's how it will go in the oven. All right, and then I'm going to do the same with this other one. So I've got this one, and put this piece of paper there, more patty paper. There we go. And then I'm going to put another piece of paper on top because I want it. And it's not so heavy that it would squish the clay either. It's just going to be helpful in allowing it to cook evenly or cure evenly. Okay, they're ready for the oven. Those backs are kind of ugly, aren't they? I will be back. While that is baking in the oven, I just thought I would show you my next step. Excuse me, I'm going to make a little plate of some words to put on the front of the card. And what I'm going to say on the front is that it's time to say, or just time to say, and I'm using the word time because there's clocks on the card to say, and then I'll open it up and then I'll say what I want on the inside. But I have this cute little cutter. And it looks, when you use it to cut, it forms like a little plaque. And I may keep that same shape or I may not. It just depends. But I've got these very small little, and you can see by this, letters. They're very heavyweight. And I can stamp something in there. And then if I want to, I could put my Pearl-Ex powder over that to bring out the letters. So that's what I think I might try. So this is T. Let me see if I can get this right. T. Okay, that's kind of off to the side, isn't it? I. I'm kind of going up and down with them. M. E. Let's see if I get the E right. Time. Okay, that looks good so far. We'll see how this works. And I better go back and get the T out of this one. Time. T. I'm trying to get that mark. You know, the little round mark from around there. I just rub it off a little bit. Time to. And this is going to be say. Let's see if I can get this right. I'll press it into a different piece of clay. Make sure I've got it positioned right here. Yes. Time to S. A. I'm just rubbing lightly. A, and then Y. So it's all kind of, kiltered, so I don't have to make everything real straight. That's kind of nice. And then I'm going to put in, let's see which one, this one, I guess. Dot, 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 dot. So I move those over. And let's just, I'll put it in this for now, but it looks like I will probably change. Well, maybe not, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I'll need it this big, so I can always cut around it with my scissors. So I'll lay that aside, and there it is. I need to pick that up so I can get away from that little bit of clay that I left here first. Take that off, and that off. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to run this blade under it, and I'm going to fix the edges. I have this here for a different reason, and I'll tell you in a little bit. I got this from Green Stuff World, www.greenstuffworld.com. I think I've used it only in one other video. And that's been a long time ago. So I'm not sure if I'm going to use it, but I laid it out just in case I want to. Okay, let me just show you this. I'm just getting the fuzzies off the ends in case I want to use this plaque. I think it might be okay to use that way. Let me put just a little bit of my pearl on there. And I'll use a small brush this time so I don't get it all over the place. Let's see here, what's a good small brush? Maybe this one. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of aim for the letters. And then I won't have so much. I don't have to use so much tape to remove the extra pearl powder. I want to make sure I get it down in there too. Okay. Okay. Use some of this from here. Just make sure I get those holes filled with it here, so the white shows up there. All right. And I'm going to use some tape to take that off. But what I'm first going to do is shake it upside down a little bit over my garbage can. Spread it around a little bit, but I'll work with it. Okay. And we'll bring in the tape. We just had some really good news. A good friend of my husband's, he was in our wedding years ago, and he's a friend of mine now too. Oh, that's good. Wow, that looks pretty. He has battled prostate cancer for many years. They couldn't remove his because his had already metastasized. They could not remove his prostate like they're going to do for my husband, because his had, like I said, metastasized, gone other areas in his body. And so he's had a tough time. And he just got some really good news today. So just thankful. So thankful for that. And his wife has battled mouth cancer, and she wasn't even a smoker, no. So it's just been, they've gone through so much. Okay. Let's see what we can do to pick up some of that extra. I want to be able to read it. Let's just, I'm going to go up and down. Take it that way. Okay, that's not so bad. Good. And okay, time to say, let me just take my sweater off for a minute here. And now what I'm going to do is, I think I will use this, and I'm going to go around the edges with some of this, like this. Just go around the edge and kind of even lean over into the front of the plaque a little bit. Okay. Probably have to use some more tape here once I'm done. I'm dropping on the front of it. I should have done this before I did that. Okay, so we continue around. And around. By the way, I told you about writing a letter to my son. His dad, my husband, is writing a letter to him as well. His children are writing a letter. I just think that's going to be such a nice surprise. So many years ago, my husband and I went on a marriage encounter weekend. Many moons ago. And we received letters from people who were praying for us over the weekend. And this is the same sort of a thing for for these guys, so it impacted our hearts powerfully. And I'm sure it will Brad too. Okay, let me just lay that down a minute. And wipe my fingers off a little bit here. Best I can anyway. And then I'll come back in and see if I can get some of this off that fell to the top. Again, it doesn't really matter so much, but it would add kind of something pretty and sparkly, but I want the words to show more than the pearl powder on the front of this. So let's just try to get that off a little bit. Okay. There we go. I've compiled quite a list of people I'm praying for lately. Everybody's just going, not everybody, but many people are going through trials. Praying for Emma, of course, and I know it's just excuse me, hard to walk through something like that. And when you know people are praying for you, there is something about that that helps you, I think, sometimes, well, most of the time, just to know that people care enough to pray for you. I know I appreciate it. Okay, time to say. That'll be on the front of the card, and I might bring the ends up a little bit when I attach it to my piece, and then now I'm going to make some lettering for the inside, and I will do the very same thing. I'm not exactly sure what I want to put on the inside, so I'll have to wait a minute, but I will be back shortly, and then we will take a look at the pieces that came out of the oven. Here they are. They came out of the oven. You'll notice that it turned a darker color in the oven, but this will turn a different color too when I bake it after I place it on here. I'm trying to decide. I'm not sure I want it that big. I am just not sure I want it that big. So I'm going to get my handy dandy little scallop scissors. Let's see, do I want that one? I want this one. I know I'm going to cut the edges off. It's going to have to be that way. So I'll cut that. And then that. With these, you can kind of make your own little plaque, can't you? And then that. And all right. Well, I don't like those little pointers, but I guess I did that, didn't I? Maybe I'll just bump them down with my finger so they're not so pointy. Okay. All right. These turned out nice. I like them. So they'll go together just like that. Let me just do something with the edges of this, though. Yeah. Wiping my thumb off. Okay, here we go. I'm trying carefully to not get it all over the top of this, but if some gets on, I'll get it off. Okay. Yeah, this is better. It's the most important thing that's going to be said will be in the card, not this part of it. So there we go. Okay. going to grab that. And I'm just going to come around the edge a little bit on the top of it and just kind of have it show a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is take this, and I just got something new. I usually use my Genesis to stick something on to something so I can rebake it. I usually use the Genesis glazing gel, but I just got this. It's called Poly Paste, and it is really sticky. So what I'm going to try to do is put this here. And I think I'll do it at a little bit of an angle. I want to make sure most of this is showing. So what I'm going to do, I don't want to break it. I don't want it to, this is thicker, so I have to kind of be careful. It is sticky, sticky, sticky stuff. Sorry. I've had never heard of this before. I can't remember where I did hear about it. It was on some YouTube within the last month or so, but okay. Now I want to put that like right there. And I want these up like that. But you know what? When you get into an oven and it's warm, things will relax. And I don't want it to relax. So I'm going to have to figure out how to put something under here to keep it up. Or maybe it will stay. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so. But I can put something under here. Time to say. Okay. Oh, you can hear our little puppy. I'm just taking a look at this to see what I want to do. I could stick a piece of cloth under here, and I think that would work just fine. And I think I might do that. Or I could maybe even lay no, I don't want it to adhere to the stick. Not sure what I want to do at the moment. But I am going to leave it up like this for now. Just give that a little bit of thought. And remember, when it gets baked, it'll turn into this blue color. At least it should, since the other did. So we shall see. There's a little bit of pearl I want to get off of there. There we go. A little bit up there too. Okay. Maybe have this up a little bit further. There we go. Kind of bend it in like that. Maybe bend that in. And let that show a little bit more. I don't know. We'll see, you guys. I don't know. We have a yippy little girl. That's why we call her the princess. When she wants something, she yips and yips and yips and yips. Okay. I think that's what we'll do with that one. Now, very slight little bit of pearl on here, just to kind of accent it a little bit more than it was, because I think I wore some of it off playing around with it. Ugh. I got big thumbs or fingers or something. There we go. Get that back off. Okay. Just a second. Sorry, my husband needs me to keep the dogs out of his way because he's going into his online Bible study right now. So that's what we were saying back and forth. Oh no, did I really do that? I'm a little bit, I guess. I got a little bit of that on the back. Okay, gonna wipe that off. I will be back after I bake this. Well, I'm back. My day has been a little bit crazy today, but I finished this, and the reason I didn't finish it on camera is because there were just so many steps, it would have taken way too long. So let me explain to you how I did it. But this is my card. The only thing I'm really disappointed in is when I baked this, after I attached this piece on, this blue piece onto this, and I baked it, this got darker, and this got dark too, but now they're not the same color. It's just a little bit lighter. Let me just bring you down a little bit. You can kind of see. But, you know, it's okay. I'm not selling this. It's going to be for my husband, and he won't mind. But anyway, I just wanted to show you what I did. I decided to put some chains on the side. I had to make this one longer than this one, and you'll see when I open it. And then I have some rhinestones. Here they are. They're hot fixed rhinestones that I got. And I have this little thing that picks rhinestones up. So I put some out on my glass, and I just I put a layer of resin on, and while it was still sticky, then I just placed these rhinestones on. And I don't know if they're masculine or not, but he'll know his wife gave it to him that way. Right? She likes bling. Anyway, so let me just open this up and show you what I've done. And this is the back of it. Of course, I put a little resin on that too, but see how it opens? It opens like that. It's so cute. So this chain is a little bit smaller. I used the ball chain, this ball chain. And then I had those closures. Let me see if I can show you. Yeah. The closures that fit on the ball chain are like that. And then I pinched them a little bit tight when I put them on. So let me just explain this to you now, or show this to you really quickly. I decided to put Happy Anniversary, number 52, on the inside. And then I just put some silver dots with some silver metallic paint. And then I popped all that into the oven and baked that. And when it came out, I put resin on that as well. And you can tell that's just very glittery. And you can see, this is the heart that I put the texture on that looks like material. I love it. I just love it. There's just enough texture there to make it look like it's got some material on it. It's so cool. Now, whether my husband notices that or not, I don't know. But and then here's the back. What I did was I just made another sheet. Can you see here? I made another clay heart, and I made it out of the white gold glitter. And I put it on the back, and then I had to bake them together. So I did that again, too. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but our initials are D and J. So I put D and J, D and J, D and J. Anyway, I thought that was kind of fun to do. So, of course, I always buy him a card, but this will be my handmade card, too, for him. And so there's my card. There it is. And I haven't made one like this before. I've made just one single heart and used that as the card and wrote on that. But let me show you some things that I used. Let me widen this back up again. I used my metal stamping letters. They're very small, but they worked well. I used it for this, and I used it for this. It says time to say on their Happy Anniversary, number 52. And then for number 52, I had these. Let me just show you what they are. I had these stamps. And so they just have a rubber stamp on that side. So I used those to stamp into the clay. And let's see, what else was I going to show you? I used the Pearl X on the Happy Anniversary and also on the back. So that took me time also. And you've seen me do that before, so you know how that's done. So I used that. And then here's the premium metallic acrylic paint. This is the gray. or excuse me, the silver. It says up here, silver. So I used that, and then I used this for the front of the card, for this, to attach this, the poly paste. And then I just went back to my Genesis because it spread a little bit easier on this, and I was kind of in a hurry, so I thought, I'm not going to fool with that right at the moment. And I'm not sure. This is supposed to really hold really well, this poly paste. But I haven't had this fail ever. This has never failed either, so either one. And then, of course, I had to pop a hole in the heart, and I had to pop a hole in those two to match this heart. So that took a little bit of time. And then on the back, I used this stamp. It's a stamp that has two hearts, and I thought, well, that's perfect. And then I got them on, and I and I used my Prolex powder, and I thought, I need to put a D and J in there. I just thought that would be kind of cute. So that's what I did. That's what I did. I'm going to bring this back and show you. Isn't that pretty? It's got wax, a wax tip on one end. They actually, and you can use it, this end, to place it, to push it around if you want to. They actually use this for fingernails, if they want to decorate fingernails, I guess. And I've got 2 extra of these tips that they send along with it. It's kind of a cute little, let me show you quick. It's kind of a cute little pack that they send, like that. And then this covers that up, and you can close it. Isn't that cute? Anyway, I got that on the internet. So that's my card. Like I said, the only thing I'm disappointed in is this right here. But you can still read it. Anyway, that's kind of fun. Kind of fun to do. It took me all day, but but it was worth it. So that's all I have for now. I am just about to go to bed, and I started this in the morning. Do you believe that? Okay, you guys have a good evening, or you have a great day if you're just getting out of bed. God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.